we are going to learn how to build an AI-based customer support agent with the help of Voiceflow. So Voiceflow is a software that helps you build these very personalized, detailed, and intelligent customer support agents. And we will see how to build such agents in this particular video. So just a little background on what this is going to be about. Who can use this customer support agent? Any online business that has a website. It could be a service-based business or it could be an e-commerce store. This customer support agent will be able to look after 80% of customer queries. That will obviously help take off a lot of load from your virtual assistants or you yourself if you're dealing with those queries personally. This can further be extended to add leads to your CRM or marketing campaigns. There are many other things that this customer support agent will be able to do, but we're going to build a very basic one today. So the one that we're going to build today is probably 10 to 15% of the actual capabilities of Voiceflow, but we're going to build this just for the sake of a demo and just for the sake of better understanding of how Voiceflow works. So the one that we're going to build, even though it's a basic one, it's still going to give you a 15 to 20% increase in conversion rates since you're engaging with the leads as soon as they're coming in. You have a higher customer retention value, a better customer acquisition value, you have competitive edge, and obviously you're building trust between you and your prospect. So in order to build this customer support agent, you will need an account on Voiceflow. It's going to be a free account that will allow you to build up to 2 chatbots. You will need a knowledge base. A knowledge base is something that we will train the agent from. We will basically use this knowledge to train the agent on about your business so that it can cater to all of the customer queries. It could be a website, it could be a PDF, or it could be a sitemap. You will need a make.com account as well, because if a customer is coming in and filling in a form with the help of this customer support agent, you should be able to get the details of that form and get the details of that lead so that you can add it into a CRM and many other things that you can do. The cost for this is obviously going to be nothing. You don't need any money to build this chatbot. You just need to follow this particular video step by step and you will have your first chatbot up and running and you will be able to integrate it into your website. So how is it going to look like? Before I dive into what this is, I'll just show you how the customer support agent is going to look like. Let's suppose this is your website. On your bottom right, you will see an icon with the logo of your website. You can tap on it, or you could directly add a message that the customer will be able to see. So it will send out these automated messages and then the customer can select one of those things or even, ask something and this chatbot will basically be able to reply to that. And if there is something that this chatbot cannot look after, it will just basically ask the person to contact the support team via email. So this is actually Voiceflow's dashboard. When you log into Voiceflow, which is going to be voiceflow.com, you will need to obviously build an agent. You will obviously need to sign in. And once you have signed in, you will come onto a dashboard that looks like this. You will have your agents over here. You obviously won't have agents here. You will just see these templates. Let's talk about this is where you'll actually be able to start and build a new agent. They have a whole course that you can take to understand Voiceflow better. And they also have a YouTube channel in which they keep teaching about Voiceflow and how you can use it to boost your business. Let's talk about the pricing models, although you probably wouldn't need to upgrade your plan. But if you're an agency owner or if you're a freelancer and you want to sell these AI agents to other businesses, you can upgrade because obviously with the free plan, we can only make 2 agents. So let's talk about the pricing. We're using the sandbox, which is free for now. and you can make two agents and use up to 100,000 monthly AI tokens. So if you're a very huge business, let's suppose, and you have made this chatbot, you might want to upgrade to the pro plan, because these tokens might not be enough if you have a lot of website visitors. So in the pro plan, you can make up to 20 agents and you get around 2 million monthly AI tokens. That's quite enough for a website that is not too small and has a lot of visitors. And rest of the plans you can just see for yourself. So this is the pricing. We have a lot of templates that we can use that are pre-made templates, and these templates are actually made by quite some very talented voice flow developers, I would say. And you can use these pre-made templates and just tweak it according to your business. So that is another very good resource that Voiceflow provides. They also have a very active Discord community. There's a lot of stuff going on in their Discord community. You can talk about if you're getting stuck somewhere. There are many more templates, many more tutorials over here. So you wouldn't really need to worry too much about how to make these chatbots, because Voiceflow allows you to learn through their Discord community, through their YouTube channel, and then also provides you with templates. So you wouldn't have to make everything from scratch every single time. If you just know the basics and understand the basics, you can tweak those templates. Okay, so let's start with actually building this chatbot. So lately, I have been really obsessed with Demon Slayers. It's an anime, and it's a really fun to watch anime. I absolutely love it. I have seen it twice, actually thrice. So we're just going to build an agent that is around that area, and we're just going to use a few references from Demon Slayers just to keep it a little on the lighter note. So when we're on the start dashboard, you'll go into new agent. You can call it whatever you want. The modality is going to be chat. You can also build voice agents on Voiceflow, obviously, because the name suggests. And the languages are going to be English. And you can add members to this workspace if you have a developer on board, or if you have somebody who has more technical expertise, although you wouldn't require any to make this bot. But if you want more functionality out of this, you can maybe ask a developer to come in and make the API calls that are required. So although they're not that complicated, but some people do find it complicated, so they ask for developers to come in. You could add them over here, and then you create the agent. So once you create an agent, Voiceflow again helps you start off by providing you with a template that looks like this. They have a basic template going on. We're just going to delete this so that we can build everything from scratch. So this is what we're left with. Our flow will be built over here. These are the cards that we're going to use to add to this flow. And this is where we will see our main things that are going on. And as for the knowledge base, I'll tell you later where to add that. So let's start building the flow. The first thing that I would want when somebody comes in and taps this particular icon on my website would be obviously a welcome message, and we'll let them know that this is an AI agent. For that, we will pull out an arrow that says talk, and we're going to send a message. So the message is going to be, hi, my name is Tanjiro. I am going to be your AI assistant for today. How can I help you? So most of the times when clients are reaching out, they're asking either about services, either they want to schedule a call, or they want to submit a form with a query. So we are going to allow these 2 to 3 commonly asked questions to be added as buttons into the first message. So first we're going to generate three variants of this so that it doesn't look very monotonous every time the same person comes in. This is not the message that they should be seeing because it's just going to sound really monotonous. So let's generate three variants of this. Voiceflow is going to use AI to generate these three variants. Hi, hello, I'm Tanjiro, your AI assistant. What can I help you with? And the same way it came up with three different variants. After this, we want to add buttons. So these buttons will be basically commonly asked questions, actually related to commonly asked questions. So the first button is going to be called service. We're going to add another button that's going to be services, and then we're going to add another button that's going to be called yeah, let's schedule a call. And then we have one more button that's going to be called contact support team. So if the person doesn't want to interact with this bot and just wants to directly contact somebody from your sales team or your support team, this is the button that they will add. And then we will add one more button that's going to be called no match. Mm, okay, let's add no match later on. I'm just going to delete this extra button. Right. So I'll explain the no match part shortly. Let's just run this. This is the window where you can actually test this bot, test the flows that you're building so that you know it's working the right way. You don't want to go and build on the entire flow and then later on figure out that something's not working. So this is the first message the person will see. Greetings, I'm Tanjiro. What do you need help with? So they can either tap services, they can schedule a call, or they could contact a support team. So let's suppose I tap services. So now I don't have anything in front of services. So that's why it's saying path not connected. But now we'll actually, let's save this. Now we'll actually go and add a carousel for our services. I don't know how people like to pronounce this, but carousel, I don't know. So anyways, now we're going to add a carousel. You could add another message, you could add an image, you could add a card that shows one particular service. But the reason why we're adding a carousel is because we are giving them more than one service. The demon slayer corpse is actually giving them more than one services, so we will add a carousel, and then the person can just tap on whatever service they're interested in, and that will directly lead to the website's page of that particular service, and then they can read about that service and then contact someone to get that service. So that's how the concept works. Let's add a card title. We could add an image. Right. So now we're going to add the services that are going to be shown in the carousel, and we're just going to add an arrow that we go to talk, and here we have the carousel option. So we can add an image. So let's add an image. We can add a title. The first service is, let's suppose, going to be katana sharpening, and we can add a little bit more about the service over here. This is our first service. The second service is going to be another picture that we can add. Corpse training. demo text. And this way we can keep adding different cards that will have an image, that will have a title, and then they will also have a demo text. Apart from that, we can also add buttons under every card. So this is going to be learn more, and we can then add an action to this button in which we can maybe link the user to our services page. For this example, I am going to link it to my own services page, but you get the idea. This is obviously a demo, but you get the idea. So now we have one card that has a picture, that has a title, that has a text regarding that particular service, and has a learn more button. So whenever a person comes in and is greeted through this message, that person will be shown the services message, and then that person will be able to scroll through all of the services, and then the person can tap on learn more and then go to your actual website where they can then learn about your services and contact somebody who will then give those services to them. So I'm not gonna obviously build this entire carousel out. Probably I'm gonna keep correcting my own pronunciation. Anyways, so let's just test if this works properly. Let's see if this works properly. So we will run, and before we run the test, we'll see if we need to train the agent. The agent has already been trained. So basically, you just have to, before running the test, make sure that your agent is trained, because we're adding new stuff. So it should be trained according to that and updated according to the information that we're providing it. So this is the first message. Hello, I'm Tanjiro, your AI assistant. What can I help you with? And we're going to tap on services. And there we go. We have the carousel. So the person can keep scrolling forward and get a picture, get a title, and all of those. And then let's tap learn more. And it will actually come to the services page of your website. So, in a very similar manner, if you are an e-commerce business, and for then you wouldn't have services, you would have product recommendation, and then you can also, in a similar way, add products, a carousel of the products, and the person can then be linked to the cart, and the person can then order through this particular link. So now you can see that when I tapped learn more and the website was opened, after that the path is not connected, and try again. So we will want to connect this path to another follow-up question and see if the person wants to know anything more, because if you just end it abruptly over here, it's not a nice thing, right? So let's add mm, 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 mm. Okay, let's add a message once the person gets to know about the service or taps one of these buttons. That person should be able to loop back to a follow-up message. Oh, by the way, we should also, it's nice to name these things so that you know which flow does what. Right. So this is going to be our follow-up. The follow-up is going to say, what else can I help you with? And then also present the same buttons. So once the person is done with this and gets to know the services or one of those things, it can loop back to this card that says, that is a follow-up question about what can I help you with, and presenting the same buttons again if they want to schedule a call this time, if they want to contact somebody from the support team, or ask a random question, they would be able to do that. So for we're done with the services part, and once the person has gotten to know about the service, we can go to actions. Oh my. Go to block, and we're going to link it to our follow-up block. This means that once the person is done with this part, they can then be looped back to this question. Let's just show you how this works. Let's see if the agent needs training. It doesn't. Let's run the test. Services, learn more. We go back. And now, yeah, so you see, once it's done with this, it can ask what else can I help you with, and then we can use the other two options as well this time. So this is the sales, this is the services part. Now let's go on to the schedule a call part. Right, so for schedule a call, we're just going to add a message with our Calendly link. And that's pretty much it. You can also embed the HTML code of Calendly over here so that when the person is in the chat, they can schedule the call within the chat. But for now, I'm just going to add the link. The link will directly open the Calendly page on another window. But obviously, it's much easier to embed the code and then do it. But I don't want this video to be very long. Maybe in another video, I will tell you guys how to do that. It's really simple. You go log into Calendly and copy the HTML code, embed code from over there, and then just add it over here to show up the entire calendar of your Calendly inside the chat only. And within the chat, the person can book a call, and they won't have to go onto another window, which is obviously a better user experience. So let's suppose a person just asks that they want to schedule a call. You can book a call here. The person can tap the link, and they will reach over to my Calendly page and be able to book a call. So that's pretty much it when it comes to booking the call. Now let's suppose they want to contact somebody from the support team. For that, we would need details like the name, the email, and the query of the person. And once we have that, we will send that over to our email. And once we receive that email, we can then contact the person directly and just cater to that particular query. Or we could also automate the email response. And if you want to learn how to automate email responses, I already have a video out. You can build an entire auto email responder out by watching that video. I'll link it in the description so that you can also automate your email responses. But for now, we're just going to collect the details from the prospect and send that over in the form of an email to the person who usually looks after the queries within your business. Okay, for contact support, we're going to collect the name, the email, and the query. So we will add the first step as message, and we're going to ask the user to type in their full name. And we obviously need to capture that name because we're going to use that to send over an email. So for that, we're going to go into listen and capture, because whatever the user is typing, we need to capture that. And by default, every capture is named as last utterance in Voiceflow. But since we are collecting three different things, we need to name them accordingly and set a variable for each particular response, basically. So in this response, the user will be typing in their name. So rather than last utterance, we're going to create a new variable that's going to be called name. We already have that, so let's just call it name. And the action, we're going to leave the action empty for now. So here the person is going to type in their name. So let's rename this block. By the way, let's also rename this block. Right. Once the person has added their name, they will add in their email. Please enter your correct email. We will then capture that email. Same process. Name and create a new variable called email. And once the person has given us their email, we will ask them for whatever their query is. Please type in your query. And we're going to capture the query. So you can see that you can do many things with this. You could capture more than just the name and email. You could also catch the phone number. You can also ask the person about the budget that they have in mind for the services that they want, and you could add similar buttons that we added. Whoops, similar buttons that we added over here. You could make another block that has options for the budget that they have. You could add that whatever information basically the sales representative or the customer care representative would require in order to service this person, this prospect, in the best possible manner. So yeah, once they are done typing in, we didn't change the variable to query. Yeah, we didn't. So let's just create a new variable called query, or let's just call it message. Right, we have collected three entities over here, and once we're done collecting, we will confirm whether we have captured all of the variables correctly. So in order to confirm that, we will need another message card that says, is the information provided below correct? And then we will give them, what if we could give them a choice? Let's see if that works better. Yes, add choice. Yeah, no. So if is the information provided below correct, which is going to be name, curly bracket. This is the variable that we selected. So this is why adding those adding that information that the client or the prospect is providing us is, it's important to save them in variables so that you can use this in this similar way. As you follow along, you will see how this is being used. So name comes up with the name variable, the email comes up with the email variable, and what else did we have? We had the message. It comes with the message variable. All right. So if the information provided for some reason isn't captured properly, which usually doesn't happen, but if it does happen in a way that it doesn't come up in the same exact manner that the way the client added that information, we're just going to ask them to contact customer support directly, because we don't want them to go over the entire tedious process of adding and typing their name and all of that again, to provide them with better user experience. Sorry, something went wrong. Please contact support info at noveltyai.site. And we just provide them with our company's email so that they can then directly contact us. And when the person directly comes in through the email, again, you can create an auto email responder via make.com, the video for which I have already uploaded. You can go check that out. And once a person comes in directly into your mailbox with a query, you can respond to those emails automatically as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Contact via email. Okay, and if the message that we provided is correct, we will then send that message over to make.com, and for that we will have to create an API connection with make.com. So basically Voiceflow and make.com are going to contact each other, and the way that they're going to contact each other is through an API call. If you want to learn more about API calls, you can easily find videos and a lot of information regarding that, but you don't need to know a lot of detail for this particular video. You just need to understand that two softwares, when connecting with each other or talking to each other, exchanging information within each other, they do that through API calls. You have different types of API calls. You can either get something from a software, you can either patch something, you could delete something. So that is the very much the basic that you will need for this particular tutorial. And if you do want to learn in detail, you could definitely look it up on YouTube or Google. So yeah, for this we are going to, where did the API go? Yeah. So we're going to go to the dev part and then select API. This is where we're going to connect make.com to Voiceflow. And before I do that, I'll just want to test out if all of this that we've created, the entities are being collected properly. So we will just run the test before we make the API call. Let's just, run this and see if this is working properly. Checking if the agent needs training. Yeah, it does need training. So let's just train the agent. This might take a little while because we're adding a lot of things and a lot of variables to this agent. So it might need some time to learn those new things and those new variables. So yeah, now that it is trained, let's run the test. We've already tested services. We've already tested schedule a call. Let's test contact support team. Please enter your full name. I am Oneza. Please enter your correct email, oneza@gmail.com. I want to automate my business. Let's see. Is the information provided below correct? So it collected the information exactly the way that I sent it out. Oneza@gmail.com. I want to automate my business. Perfect. But it did not give us the choice. So I think I might have to type it here is how it's going to. Let's type no first. Sorry, something went wrong. Please contact support. Okay, one change that I would want to make is I wouldn't want the customer to come in and type yes or no. So let's delete this for now and add buttons rather than the choices. So the first button is going to be yes, and the next button is going to be no. Yes is going to be connected to the API call, and no is going to be connected to the contact via email. So I hope that makes sense now. You can obviously collect any sort of information that you have, and we can see that it's working correctly. So let's move on to connecting mate.com to this so that we can finally get an email regarding this information so that we can then reach out to that person personally, or we could again generate an entire automated response and contact the person for their query. All right, now we're going to go in and connect mate.com via API so that we can send this content as an email. So for this, we will need a URL or a variable to connect to Make. For that, you will have to go to make.com and create an account. Once you do, you will reach a page that looks like this, and then you will go and create a new scenario. Make.com is also free initially. You get 1,000 operations for free. 1,000 operations will be enough for you to deal with this particular chatbot. You wouldn't have to do anything else with that. So the first thing that we would want to do is look for webhooks and create a custom webhook. Choose add and save. This will give you a link. So you're just going to copy this link, and this is what we're going to add over here. Let's send a request and see if it's working. So 200 OK means the API call has successfully been made. Yeah, we can see a 200 OK over here. And let's go back to Make, and we can see that the webhook has successfully been determined. Let's go to OK. And now, since we want to send an email, we will go to Gmail, send an email. You will have to obviously connect an account over here. You can add a professional email in a very easy manner. It's not that difficult. You can also add a basic email, but it is a longer procedure. You can check out the documentation on make.com, and you will find how to integrate your normal email with Gmail or any other service provider into make.com. If you want me to make a video regarding that, let me know in the comments below so that I can. So the recipient is going to be anyone who is dealing with customer queries. So for me, I'm just going to use the same email. The subject is going to be new form submission. The content is going to be you have a new form submission that will have the name, the email, and the message. So right. So before we run this, we will have to save this scenario and run it once. But since we don't have any data yet, as of yet, in our previous workflow, that is our chatbot, so this wouldn't be able to work right now. So we're going to stop this right now, and let's go into Voiceflow and set a few parameters. The parameters are basically going to be the way that Voiceflow is going to send the information provided by the prospect, that is the name, email, and the message, over to make.com, so that make.com can then form a message and send it to your email. So the first variable was name, and our variable was called name. The second parameter was email. Where is our email? There we go. And the third parameter was our message. There we go. Let's just send a demo request to make.com. Okay, so it says 200. Let's see if this is able to wait for new data. It should be able to run by now. Seems like we're having a bit of a problem. Let me send this again. Resend. It's 200 OK. It's probably because we did not set the parameters. Let's set the parameters before we can. Yeah, but we don't have that here yet. For that we need to run this once, so that the module gonna cancel. Let's just save it again. Save anyway. What's the problem here? Okay, so when I was running this once, I was using wait for new data, which wasn't right. I had already made the request from Voiceflow over here, so I didn't have to wait for new data. I just needed to use existing data, and when I did, the scenario was run complete, and we can see that the Gmail has been sent. Let's see if we have that. Yeah, you have a new form submission, but we don't have anything in front of this. So now that the scenario has been run once and we have all of our parameters, let's send a request one more time, generate. And now what we can do is we can map the same variables that we added. Yeah, so in front of name, we can add name. So it was necessary for us to run this scenario once before adding those parameters, so that the webhook and Gmail could talk to each other, know what information is being passed on. And after that, we added the parameters, and then we sent over a new request with some test data. And now we can just add the same things over here. And whenever a person comes in, adds these three things through Voiceflow, you will be able to receive an email. So let's try this one more time with the same test data, and let's see if we have a new email. There we go. So you have a new form submission, name Z, email Z at gmail.com, and messages hello. So every time a person comes in into this chatbot and is goes through this particular flow where they want to contact the support team, they add in their name, email, and their query. All of that is collected, is confirmed, and then is sent over to make.com to be sent as an email to your sales team. So I hope that makes sense. And if the information is not correct, you can directly send the person over through email, and they can just manually type in that email. So we are done with the three major things that the person can come to your website and ask. We forgot two important steps. When the person has booked the call, they should be able to go back to, I don't know why this keeps happening. They should be able to go to the follow up question block where the bot will then ask them the follow up question if they have anything else that they want to know. And we want to do the same with our API request. If it's a success, we want them to go to the follow up block. And if the request fails for some reason, we can then again loop it back to contact via email. Okay, so the last thing that's left now is the no match. The no match means when the bot greets the person and they don't want to know any of these three things, or they want to ask something that is completely out of the scope of these three things. The bot should be able to reply to most of those things as well. So for that, we will have to connect no match to capture. We want to just know what the person wants to ask. This one's gonna the variable for this one is going to be last utterance, because this is going to be the last message that the person has given us. And once we capture the last utterance, we want AI to reply to that. So for this, we will use a response AI button that is going to use the knowledge base. The query is going to be the last utterance, and we're going to prompt uh, the AI, basically Chat GPT, to answer to this particular question. Let's suppose a person comes in and asks, "What is Demon Slayer Corps?" Now, you that is not into the scope of these three things, right? So the bot should know what the Demon Slayer Corps is because it's a customer support agent. So when a person types over here, what is the Demon Slayer Corps, the bot will then connect to the knowledge base that we provide, and will use that question and go into the knowledge base, search the knowledge base, and then according to the prompt, come up with an answer. So first, we will have to prompt it to answer to this particular query properly. You are a smart customer support agent. You answer the customer's query in a friendly manner. Keep your answers concise. If you do not know, if you find the answer from the provided knowledge, refer the person to a customer support agent and ask them to reach out via email. Info at novelty AI. This is a really bad prompt, but obviously I would go through it and I would iterate it and make sure that it's formatted in a way that ChatGPT would be able to understand properly. But this is just an example. You can make it funny. You could prompt ChatGPT to come up with answers in a more creative way, and you can do many more things with this particular instructions. So let's preview. For that, we will first have to add a knowledge base. Now that we've prompted ChatGPT, AI answer question. Right. So for AI to actually answer to whatever question the customer has, we will have to add a knowledge base. For that, we will go back and we will go to knowledge. This is where you can upload either URLs, sitemaps, a file, plain text, or you could also add information through Zendesk. Right now, I'm going to upload a file that I created for the Demon Slayer Corpse. There we go. This is a PDF file. We're going to import it. This file is basically what ChatGPT is now going to use to look after all of the answers that the person has outside of the scope provided. So this is just like a very basic documentation. The better your PDF file is, the better structured it is, the better outcomes ChatGPT is going to give. This is a very basic example. I would want to add more proper headings. I would want to add examples, and I would make this PDF as detailed as possible so that I never have to worry about the outcomes of ChatGPT. So the better your knowledge base is, the better outcomes ChatGPT is going to give you. So now we have added this data source and the status is done. So let's go back to our workflow and preview the answers that it's going to give. What is Demon Slayer Corpse? Generate. Let's see what it comes up with. The Demon Slayer Corps is a secret organization dedicated to protecting humans from demons. Their primary mission is to slay demons and maintain balance between the human and demon worlds. That's perfect. That is exactly what I added into the knowledge base. So now we can see that ChatGPT is able to uh, go to the knowledge base and provide answers according to that. And if it doesn't find answers, it will just ask the person to contact via email. So if it's not found, again, we're going to loop it back. Where did the other one go? Yeah, so we're going to loop it back to contact via email. If the answer wasn't found, we could go to that block, home, contact via email. There we go. And if it is done, it will then go to the follow-up block, follow-up. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this as well. Let's test it out. Let's test the no match option out once, and then we will wrap this video up. It's been 50 minutes since I've been recording, so I'm sure you guys are also tired by now. But this is like a very comprehensive guide which can really help you make any sort of flow on voice flow. And you can usually literally use this step by step and add an AI agent on your website right now. So I mean, it's a very good return on investment. If I talk about the time, if you can make it in an hour, maybe 2 hours, but this is really going to help you reduce your tickets and reduce your time given to customer support queries. So let's just type something like, who owns Demon Slayer Corpse? Just taking a little bit of time. Right, so I just went through the entire flow and I realized that this particular step wasn't needed. So we're going to delete this here and I'll tell you how to make this again. So when we go to no match, we directly have to connect it to this. And one more thing that we need to do is go to our knowledge base, go to knowledge base settings, and this is where we can provide a few settings for the model that we're going to use. We're going to use 3.5 turbo, where we're going to set the temperature to 0.07. The max number of tokens is going to be, let's set it to 500. So I completely forgot to do these steps, is why it wasn't coming out with the right answers. And the chunk limit is going to be 3 chunks, are basically chunks that it will pull out of the knowledge base that I've provided. And you can give it a system prompt. I'm not going to go into detail of how to do that. You can just prompt it properly. If you want me to show you the way that I prompt these knowledge bases, you can just let me know in the comment down below and I will send over the prompt to you. So let's save this and let's preview it once before we go into our actual flow. Who owns Demon Slayer Corpse? The Demon Slayer operates under the auspices of Ubuyashiki family. So yeah, perfect. That's perfect. So let's go back to our workflow and try this one last time. Let's run. We'll probably have to train our agent. No, we don't. Let's run the test. Who leads the Demon Slayer Corpse? Perfect. What else can I help you with? So yeah, one more thing that I forgot to add is how to integrate this chatbot into your website. That's probably the most important part that I missed out on. So for that, you'll just have to go to integrations, web chat, and here you have a code that you'll copy and then you'll go over to your website and you'll go over to the code of that website and paste this code snippet before the closing body tag on all pages you want the widget to appear on. So it's a very straightforward process. Other than that, the most important part here is that you can also give it a starting name, a description, and you can also give it a particular appearance. So you could add the color of your brand, you could add an image, you could add an avatar. So there are many things that you can do just the way Voiceflow has done for itself. This is Voiceflow's chatbot, so it has the logo of Voiceflow. So you can do the same thing with your website as well. So yeah, that was just one important part that I missed out on. You just need to copy this code and paste it before the body tag on each page that you want this chatbot on. Here we have our AI powered customer support agent. If you want this entire flow, what I'm going to do is that you can comment the word voice flow, and I will select one person for whom I will make this completely for free for their website. So just comment the word voice flow down in down below, and I will select one person out of you guys, and I will build this entire flow, this entire customer support agent for your website for free. Usually it's worth around 1,000 to $1,200, but I'm going to do this for free just for the sake of it, just for the sake of growing this channel, just for the sake of growing my personal brand. And well, let's wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was enough for you guys to come up with a customer support agent for yourself and help grow your business. If you have any feedback or ideas for me, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.